The ancient Hebrews, from the patriarch Abraham to the nation of Israel, were a black people. Genesis chapter 10, verse 21 to 22, and 24. Unto Shem also, the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth the elder, even to him were children born. The children of Shem, Elam, and Asshur, and Arphaxad, and Lud, and Aram. And Arphaxad begot Salah, and Salah begot Eber. Eber came from the chosen seed line that led to the nation of Israel. Abraham is the first person called a Hebrew, Genesis chapter 14, verse 13, in the biblical text. What does the name Hebrew mean and where does it come from? Abraham's fifth great-grandfather was Eber. And Arpachshad bore Shalach, who bore Eber, Genesis chapter 10, verse 24. The Hebrew spelling of the word Hebrew is Ivri, and the Hebrew spelling of Eber is Eber. When the letter is placed after a name it means one belonging to the family of. And in this case a Hebrew is one who belongs to the family of Eber. By definition, a Hebrew is one who is descended from Eber, and this would include Abraham as well as his brothers Nahor and Haran. While the lineages of Nahor and Haran seem to disappear, probably absorbed into other cultural groups, only Abraham and his descendants remain Hebrews to this day. The root, abr, means to cross over or pass through. As names play a very significant role of the ancient peoples of the Near East, this name and its meaning is indicative of Abraham and his descendants. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were nomads who by definition are ones who travel or pass through many lands on their nomadic journey. In Genesis chapter 12, verse 6, we read, from the KJV, and Abram passed through the land unto the place of Sichem, unto the plain of Moreh. And the Canaanite was then in the land. The phrase passed through is the Hebrew verb, the same word as the noun or name Eber. In today's world, the Hebrews are simply the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Ancient Hebrews originated in Chaldea, which was occupied by ancient Babylonians. They came from Mesopotamia, an area that was anciently located in North Africa. The Old Testament account of Hebrew origins begins with Terah of the Chaldean city of Ur, in Mesopotamia, and his three sons, Haran, Nahor, and Abraham. Genesis chapter 11, verse 27 to 28. Now these are the generations of Terah. Terah begot Abram, Nahor, and Haran begot Lot. And Haran died before his father Terah in the land of his nativity, in Ur of the Chaldees. So Terah was a Chaldean by nationality and lived in Ur, with his three sons, which includes Abraham. Abraham and his wife Sarah left Ur because God promised him and his descendants a land they could call their own. Genesis chapter 15, verse 7. And he said unto him, I am the Lord that brought thee out of Ur of the Chaldees, to give thee this land to inherit it. Before Abraham eventually settled in a land called Canaan, he was living in the city Ur, in southern Mesopotamia. Ancient Chaldeans, or Babylonians, were a Cushite, or simply an Ethiopian people. Cush was the son of Ham, and his descendants were anciently called Cushites, see Genesis chapter 10, verse 6. The Cushites, or Ethiopians, are the descendants of Ham. Bible scholars agree that dark races are descendants of Ham. This means that the Hebrews dwelt among black people, and probably made intermarriages with them. Godfrey Higgins, a reliable English antiquary, says, the Chaldeans were originally Negroes. Professor Rudolph Windsor agreed with this, and in his book, From Babylon to Timbuktu, he wrote, the Chaldeans and the other people of that region were jet black in their complexion. The ancient Sumerians called themselves Sagag, meaning black-headed ones. This is because they had shaven heads. The ancient Chaldeans were their cousins. Terah, Abraham's father, was a relative of Nimrod. He was a merchant who sold idols in the city of Ur. Biblically, we know that Nimrod was the son of Cush. Cush is the progenitor of the Ethiopians, and it's a well-known fact that the Ethiopians are black. So, this means that Nimrod was also black. Abraham came from Ur in southern Mesopotamia, which in his day was overwhelmingly populated with black-skinned people. The people who inhabited ancient Chaldea, including the Hebrews, were indeed black. An Egyptian scholar by the name of Dr. Charles S. Finch III, M.D., says in his book Echoes of the Old Dark Land, on pages 5 and 32, we know from the fate of albinos all over Africa that unprotected skin, or light skin, is subject to grotesque, disfiguring cancers that are soon fatal. Melanin, the substance that gives the skin a dark brown or black pigment, by absorbing ultraviolet radiation and scattering the ions produced, protects the skin from cancer. So, for Abraham to have come from that part of the world, he had to have very dark black skin. The Elamites are Shem's other black-skinned sons from the region of Ur. Genesis chapter 10, verse 22. The children of Shem, Elam, and Ashur, and Arphaxad, and Lud, and Aram. The descendants of Elam, one of Shem's sons, are known as the Elamites. What cannot be denied also is that Abraham's grandson Ketur was a black man. Genesis chapter 25, verse 13. And these are the names of the sons of Ishmael, by their names, according to their generations, the firstborn of Ishmael, Nebajoth, and Ketur, and Adbeel, and Mibsam. In the Hebrew, the name Ketur is Ketur, Strong's number 6938, meaning swarthy, black-tinted. According to Merriam-Webster's dictionary, the English word swarthy is defined as having dark skin. If Ketur, the grandson of Abraham, had black skin, then Abraham must have been black as well. Abraham is the father of Isaac. Isaac is the father of the patriarch Jacob. Jacob had 12 sons, and these sons are the progenitors of the Hebrew Israelite nation. The 12 tribes of Israel are as follows: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Issachar, Zebulun, Joseph, and Benjamin. Each one of Jacob's sons became a tribal nation which made up the greater nation of Israel. For example, Reuben's descendants became known as the tribe of Reuben. Judah's descendants became known as the tribe of Judah, and so on. The nation of Israel are the descendants of Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel by God. See Genesis chapter 32, verse 28.